Was there a certain arrogance that crept into that Australian side in that era? Just an arrogance that said, I can win come what may because I'm just better than everybody else. I mean, if you look at there was a great batting side, of course, but McGrath, Gillespie, Lee, Vaughan has to be among the finest quartets ever assembled in the history of cricket.
Arrogance, I would say yes, definitely. I think that, and I don't mean that in a bad way either. I think that we got to a stage there that we felt like we could beat any side that they put in the park against us. There was no pretentiousness about it. There was no like we deserved to win, but we had such a good side and we had world-class players and guys that were prepared to give anything to try and win. And what I mean by that is that we always knew that if there was 3 hours left in the day, we had to take 2 test wickets or 3 test wickets. We'll always back ourselves to get that in that period of time. And most times that we did because we had these freaks in the team like Glenn and Jason and
some people
Shane
thought you were in
Warne.
that category too.
Well, hopefully I played my part a little bit. But yeah, look, we had such a great side. It was a great team under a great captain with Steve Waugh. And it was a great era to play cricket. To me, if I'm 45 years of age and think back and think I've played with these greats,
45 is not an age to look back, Brett. Some people have crossed that already.
Okay, from 65.
Okay, there. Now we're talking. Now we're talking, yes. Any regrets when you look back? Is there something you've done better? Maybe an 18-month phase when you were not in the side because, say, someone like Michael Kasparov was just bowling enough to keep his place in the side? Or feeling that maybe if I'd not gone flat out and I'd have protected my body a little bit, I might have played more than the 76 test matches I did?
Look, it's a tough question because I probably wouldn't change anything that's happened in my life. I've learned a lot from the good times. I've learned a lot from the hard times that I've been through.
What would you have learned from the hard times?
Well, when I was here in India in 2004, I was 12th man for 4 tests straight.
Yeah.
And people would say, well, how can you learn if you're not playing cricket? But I was watching the guys play, I was training, so I was so fit by the time I actually took off from this airport here because I trained every single day and I thought, well, if I'm not playing, I want to get myself very fit. So I was bowling in the nets and made sure I was listening to what they needed. Why wasn't I playing? They thought I was too expensive or I wasn't bowling quick enough or I wasn't fit. So I had to tick every single box.
And you disagreed?
You don't always agree with them. You don't always think that they're right, and you're not always right either. That's a thing. But you've just got to work harder and harder. And if they say, well, we don't think your ankle's right, or you're not bowling fast enough, or you're not patient enough, well, you find a way to fix that up. And that it was a tough period here for like a few months in India, not playing a single game.
And what do you learn when the going is good?
You learn that you enjoy it
those
whilst it happens.
Yeah?
Whilst it happens.
Those first 18 months as a test bowler, and then leading up to the 2003 World Cup, those 4 years were sort of dream 4 years for
I probably should have retired after about seven test matches. I think I averaged 16 with the ball and about 40 with the bat.
Yeah.
Should have walked away then.
But that was a dream phase for you. I mean, you couldn't have entered international cricket better.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it so much, and I think bursting on the scene, and not a lot of people have seen me bowl that had that advantage as well. You get that shock element where you're normally quicker than the other guy coming through, and you can blast a few out, and then a few years later, then they realise what style of bowler you are, and they're not scared of fast bowling, or not as scared as fast bowling, and then you're brought back with a pack. But no, look, I've enjoyed every single moment of Test cricket.
Has the sheen worn off the Australian side a little bit? I mean, you would have won a lot of your matches because a lot of people thought they could not beat Australia. They sort of got into the game thinking we cannot win. And now people are getting in playing Australia thinking, hang on, I think we can. So has that sheen worn off? Do you see it difficult for Australia to claw back in the days ahead?
Look, I think that we definitely did have that element of Australia will be very tough to beat when we had that elite side. I think in 2005 when England beat us in the Ashes, that then proved to the world that Australia will be beaten and can be beaten at any stage. Not that we would like to think that. We had that presence that we want to, the way that we walked out through the gate, the way that we attacked the field, the way that we batted and bowled. We had that controlled arrogance about us that we thought this is what we were about. But yeah, we got beaten in 2005, the Ashes, and then suddenly...
Something good came out of that. You were invincible for 18 months after that.
Yeah, because we actually hurt from it. And that was probably the best thing for us because it stops all that complacency happening.
So do you think Australia will now struggle to get back to where they are? I mean, there's been 8 or 10 spinners used and still haven't found one. There have been a lot of fast bowlers who have been tried out, and
Yeah.
you still don't know who the best three are at any given time.
Yeah.
So do you see it a long, hard climb back for Australia? Or do you think it's a short-term thing?
Look, I think it's going to be it's a transitional phase. And that's probably the best way for me to answer that. Is that we are going through a challenging time or a challenging period where we've got young guys coming on learning their trade. You know, when Glenn and Shane Warne first came on, it took them a while to get into their game as well. But these are two world-class bowlers that have taken, you know, a lot of wickets between them. 1,300 wickets between them. So they're once in a generation bowler, and that's the thing. These bowlers don't come on every single day.
No.
But saying that, we've got young guys coming through now, which I'm confident that in years to come, Australia will be very, very competitive and we'll have that edge again, I think. But it's going to take time to build up that whole system again.
Do you see yourself now being looked up to in the manner you did to, say, an Alan Donald or a Glenn McGrath? Do you see yourself comfortable playing that role?
Oh, look, I would hope to think I've inspired some fast bowlers around the world. I would like to think that hopefully people might look up and say, well, I'd like to be a fast bowler because Brett Lee's done it. That to me makes me feel really, really special. And it's a nice little compliment or accolade, but these young guys coming through, if I can, as I said, play my part and play my role and help out these young guys and pass on my knowledge, so they're learning what they are at 21, not at 25, 26. They get all that younger years in when they're fittest and strongest to try and do well.